Hello, today we will be looking at Cambridge IGCSE Music, a past paper extract. We will be looking at the November 2023 paper. This is paper 1-1 and we are looking into Arabic music specifically. So from November 2023 onwards, the Cambridge School Support Hub does not allow you to listen to the exact CD and the exact audio tracks that they played in the exam. So any exam venue that has done the specific paper will be getting the official CD and the official documents from Cambridge, and then from there onwards you can definitely play that for your students or for anyone that comes through those Cambridge venue doors. But for those of you who have not had anyone write this exam at your Cambridge venue, you will still be able to log on to the Cambridge School Support Hub. However, you will just be getting a track list with all the tracks as well as all the specific details of where Cambridge got those tracks from, and this is all to do with copyright issues. So we respect that, and the very nice thing about this system is that you can actually see the very specific titles of the songs and the very specific composers of the songs, as well as the publishing company. You can see so many things, and that's so cool. You'll be able to look that up for yourself, or if you don't really want the specific version and you just want to give your students or your class, or if you just yourself would like to go and listen to a very general or very broad, or just really just want to get in touch with a specific type of world music, for example, and you know that this paper has Arabic music and you just want to listen to it, you can go and type in the title of the piece into YouTube, maybe Spotify, any music listening platform, and you can go listen to a version of the piece, and you can also share that as a good example of what, for instance in this case, an Arabic piece would sound like. And also, this is something that Cambridge has put in the exam, and it is just very nice to, showcase that. And then not very small snippets, but you can actually listen to a full song. So there we go. So this is a very new way that Cambridge is publishing their material for past papers. This is going to be something new for all of us to grapple with, but here we go. So today we are looking at section B, of course, our general world music section, and we are looking at section B1. So within our systematic order of listening to our CD, section B1 is the third section to come up in Cambridge listening after the first two sections, A1 and 2, that have to do with Western music. We're now in section B that as a whole counts 22 marks. Section B1 counts 6 marks, section B2 counts 6 marks, and these both have to do with our general world music listening. After that, section B3 counts 10 marks, but that has to do with the specific world focus for the year, and that changes each and every year. But today we're focusing on Arabic music, general world music listening, and this happened to come up in the November 2023 past paper, section B1. So the very first world listening example that all the students had to listen to there was an Arabic tradition example, and we're going to listen to that now. But before we hop into that, let us quickly look at the questions. So our first question, which you'll see is labeled question 10 because of the order in the exam, we are asked to describe the music heard during the 3 different parts of the extract. So we will be asked to explain what's happening in the first solo voice, then the second solo voice, as well as the group of voices. And for us to give a description here, we will need to at least give 4 pointers because they do say that the question counts 4 marks. After that, they ask us where does this music come from, or which tradition are we dealing with here, and we sort of have 7 world music traditions to choose from. If we ignore our world music focus for the year, because they will not ask us our world music focus in general world music listening, if we ignore our world focus, we will have 6 traditions left, so we have to choose one of 6. And of course it will be Arab tradition in this example. But then we are asked to give a reason for this, and we are asked also not to repeat any information that we have given before in this section B1 answers. So let us go ahead and hop right into the listening. I have chosen a listening example from YouTube, and I will link this video in the description as well, so then you can feel free to go and listen to the full track as well as to other tracks by this artist. Okay, so I'll pause it over there. That was about 1.5 minutes of music, and we're going to answer our questions based on what we just heard. And of course, this might not be the exact recording that Cambridge used, but it is the same piece by the same artist, and we are just going to answer according to what we hear now. Let's hop into it. So the first question is a nice layered question. They ask you to describe the music that you hear, but they do ask it according to 3 layers. So first solo voice, second solo voice, group of voices. So as I said before, the mark allocation here is 4 marks, and Cambridge is nice enough to say that, okay, maybe you are able to describe the first solo voice, maybe you're a bit shaky on groups of voices. They will let you answer at least one of those sub layers fully, where you will get a maximum of 3 marks, and you at least have to say another point under one of the other layers. What would be smart and logical is to at least say one thing per layer. So one thing about the first solo voice, one thing about the second solo voice, one thing about the group of voices, and then one other thing about one of the layers that you feel very secure on. But say for instance you know a lot about that second solo voice and you want to write 3 facts there. Go for it, and then you're more than welcome to write 1 fact at group of voices or even 1 fact at first solo voice, and Cambridge will give you marks here. They will award you the 4 marks, and this is also something new that they have instituted as of 2023. So I'm not sure how long this will last and if it will really continue into the next years as the syllabus changes. So this is what they allowed with this paper, but let's go ahead and fill in our descriptions systematically. So we'll start with the first solo voice. So you heard that our extract or our piece started off just with instrumentals. We have our Arabic instruments there. I heard rebab. I did hear the ney, which is a Arabic woodwind instrument. And once those instruments started us off, we had the first solo voice joining a bit later on. And so the first solo voice does enter heterophonically. And this is a texture thing. So heterophonically just means you're sort of playing or singing the same melody, but you're entering at different times, and you're also varying the melody, almost like a little variation. So the rebab would do a variation of the melody, and the voice does another variation of the melody. They do it at the same time, and it creates sort of these layers of the same melody on top of each other. This is something that we not only see in Arabic music, it's definitely a wider spread world music thing, but it does appear in Arabic music, so we can be very safe to put this as one of our facts. So we can be sure to say that our first voice enters heterophonically, it enters along with the rebab, and it is also accompanied by percussion here. If you want to add another fact, you can definitely add that the melody line is decorated. I mean, nothing in Arabic music will ever just be straight tone. You can definitely feel free to add that. If we're looking at our second solo voice, we can definitely add something very simplistic to say that the second solo voice actually repeats the exact same music that the first solo voice does. And don't be shy to write this. This is true, this is a fact, and you will get your mark here. And if you happen to say something like, the melody line here is also ornamented, or you forgot to say it at the first solo voice and you say here the melody line is ornamented because it's the same thing, the same melody, you will also get your marks here. Say for instance you want to give 2 facts at your first solo voice and 2 facts here, you may do so. That will already give you your 4 marks. But let's go ahead and see what we can write under group of voices. So the third entry of voices after the first solo voice, the second solo voice, our third entry happens to be a group of voices. And in this extract it was a group of men singing, and they are definitely singing in unison. They're not singing in harmony there, they're singing the exact same line. I'm not even really sure how many men are singing together on the recording. I can just hear that it's more than one man and they're singing in unison, and I'm pretty sure that is the exact same on the track that Cambridge used for this example. And they also sing in phrases, and although they do sing in unison, it's also a little bit, it can be separated, for instance, by an octave. Some of them are singing at a lower pitch, some of them are singing at a higher pitch. That's a bit advanced, it's a bit extended there, you don't need to say that, but as long as you say that they're singing in unison, that'll give you your mark there. Personally, yeah, I would feel safer to answer for 2 points at the first solo voice, 1 point for the second solo voice, and 1 point for the group of voices. But anything that is correct and anything that you hear that Cambridge knows will make logical sense, you will get your 4 marks here. So our next question is, where does this music come from? And of course, it is an Arabic music tradition. It comes from Arab culture. And I know that some students do get confused a little bit here. They're able to narrow it down, sort of as a process of elimination. Okay, no, it's not African music. No, it's not Chinese music. No, it's not Japanese. It's not Latin American. It's not Indonesian music. But can I decide between Arabic and Indian music? Some people really do get confused there, and it's because they don't do enough listening, or maybe one of the two music traditions is not something that they would go and listen to by themselves or on their own, because either they have just said to themselves, no, I don't enjoy this tradition, or I'd rather not listen to this tradition. Some people do have that mindset, and unfortunately that is what we sit with. I would encourage you to go listen to all traditions equally. But some people really do get confused between Arabic and Indian music. And the big thing here to distinguish between the two is that Indian music will most definitely have an underlying drone somewhere, Arabic music not. Now personally, I like Arabic music and I listen a lot to Arabic music. So whenever I do hear a music example from Arab tradition, I'm able to recognize it straight away. But that's just me, and that might be you, that might be your students, that might be one of your friends. But sometimes the reverse is true, and people really do get confused. But over here, of course, it comes from the Arab tradition, and now we're supposed to give a reason in 11b for why this is so. We're not allowed to use an answer here that we've used before. Say for instance here we want to say that this is a piece of music from Arab tradition because I hear the entries enter heterophonically, or the first solo voice enters heterophonically with the rubab, or I hear the nay, or something like that, and you've already said it, then they won't give you a mark here. Luckily, there are many things that we could have said already in question 10 with our description of our music, and there are leftover things that we didn't have to say there, and we can maybe say it now. So for instance, something that could definitely be true for other traditions of world music would also be acceptable here. For instance, the amount of pitches used. There's a very limited amount of pitches used in this example, and that is definitely something that is a key trait of Arabic music. Yes, it is also a key trait of other world music traditions, but that is a very safe answer because it definitely is true here. Make sure that you're using it in a true case, not just because it is your last resort of an answer. So we have our small range of notes, and then we also have our use of quarter tones. So that's the in-between notes that we don't usually use in Western music unless we want to use extended techniques, but it is smaller than half tones or semitones. So we have our use of quarter tones here. That could also be a reason. And then of course, if you didn't mention anything about any specific instruments earlier, like the rubab or the ney, you can use that here. And if you perhaps did not say anything about heterophony or heterophonic playing or texture before, you can use that here. So you have a few options, but make sure that whatever you're using here is not something that you already said in the previous questions in this section. So there you have it. Only worth 6 marks, a very nice extract here for us, and I hope this gives you a good glimpse into what Cambridge may ask in terms of Arabic music when it comes to their general world music listening.